My name is Asif, and I lead Salesforce practice at Royal Cyber. So today we are here with our fifth episode of our podcast series on Salesforce B2C Composable Commerce. And today we are going to touch, or the aspect of, I would say, SEO. In Salesforce overall, in general, and in overall in Salesforce, and specific to how SEO has been given as part of Salesforce B2C Composable Commerce. As part of the panel, I have with me Iftikhar Khan, who's our senior Salesforce certified B2C commerce architect, and I have Foha with me, who is our senior tech lead for Salesforce B2C Composable Commerce. All right. So, starting with Iftikhar, you please tell us, how setting the context up, how SEO was introduced as part of the SFRA and SiteGenesis framework within Salesforce B2C Commerce.
So I will start from the SFRA. Where Salesforce has introduced the mobile first approach. So when you go with the mobile first approach and you have the responsive design, so it's by nature it's SEO friendly. And apart from that, for in the SFRA and the SiteGenesis, Salesforce Commerce Cloud has some built-in tool. You can say tool or the interface in the Business Manager where you can configure different settings for the SEO to optimize your pages. Like one is like URL rules. You can define over there for your URLs of the sites for category pages, product pages, and you can include the meaningful brand name and the attribute names in the URLs by defining these rules. And you can also configure URL redirects and sitemaps, reports, dynamic mapping, page meta tag rules over there. So Business Manager has a set of tools which are directly connected with the B2C Commerce Script API and the setting you have in the Business Manager. So based on those settings, the contents are directly injected in the pages you are creating in the SFRA or the SiteGenesis architecture. So this is something which is provided out of the box, apart from the best practices that the developer can adopt while developing their front-end pages using the ISML templates. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So it means, when it comes to SFRA or SiteGenesis, it is actually comes with the product. All the SEO,
Yeah.
It's built in with the product. You just have to go and do some configurations, define your tags, and within the Business Manager. Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right. Foha, any thoughts on this? From your side.
Exactly what Iftikhar said over here, that basically Salesforce does take ownership of that, and they have those options for you. And as soon as your site is up and running, you can just turn those rules on, and you've got SEO friendly URLs as well as that. And again, in SFRA, you have server-side rendering as well, so it's pretty easy for your crawlers to pick up that data and go through it, pre-rendered HTMLs, and it's really easy for them to pick up keywords from there. So that's the way that it's working on SFRA.
Okay, great. Excellent. Okay, now when it comes to composable, so I would like you guys to tell us about how SEO has been introduced or given as part of the composable commerce storefront. I mean, and what kind of role it plays when it comes to, because we have server-side rendering and then the React-based storefront at the client side. So how this SEO has been given as part of the composable storefront?
Okay, so I think before answering the actual question about the SEO practices and the options, I think we need to understand the composable architecture. So basically the concept of the composable is you decouple your modules and give the options for a flexible architecture to implement it, right? But when you have given this option of the flexibility, at the same time you have decoupled your backend Salesforce Commerce Cloud backend with the front end, right? So here a gap is created. So at first place, it's a gap, but at the second place, I think it's a better option for the developers, the implementers, so they have enough flexibility to implement the best practices of the SEO within the technology of the storefront they are using, right? So here there are a few options they can take care of, they can adopt to optimize their front end for the SEO perspective. For example, the mixture of the content using the server side rendering and the client side rendering. As you know, the server side rendering create the HTML page and send the response back to the browser as a complete information as a form of the HTML, which is very easily crawlable by the crawler. While if you use the uh, client side, the client side is basically the content which is rendered by the JavaScript. So maybe the crawler, the time it is crawling that particular URL, so those content are not filled by the JavaScript, or crawler can pick the empty pages, right, while they're crawling. So the problem is with the client side JavaScript that you need to deal with. So how you can deal with this issue? So this is I can say the problem area when you deal with the client side JavaScript. So one thing you can you can implement like the Java. You can break your JavaScript in different modules. You can say the page by page. For example, from home for home page, only load on those files which is relevant to the home page only, and similarly for the other pages. So your JavaScript should be a modular structure. It will reduce the size of the JavaScript, and also it will easily load it, and it will take less time when it load into the browser. So, and it optimize the performance. So when the performance of your page is good, so it will be easily digestible by the crawler, so they can easily crawl it, and it will take less time for the crawler to index that page which is built by the client side JavaScript. Right. Similarly, there are few other things like using the canonical URLs within the page, and avoiding the hash in URL, because the crawlers do not hash the content after which come after the hash in the URL. So avoiding this will helpful to optimize your front end. Similarly, the cache mechanism you can think of. By default, by nature, you can say the service worker, which is used in the PWA kit, uh, it caches the request you made by calculating the hash of the URL, and it cache within the browser of that request. So it is useful for the crawler when the pages are cached, which is done by the PWA itself. But you need to deal with the cache, because there is limited storage in the browser. So you need to develop a mechanism within your PWA application where you can clean that cache by time to time. So I think there are few other things as well, but for the sake of time, I can't go into the detail. But there is a lot of thing over there available which you can implement within the composable architecture to implement your pages by making them SEO friendly.
Okay. Okay. Sure. Fuha, your thoughts on this one?
Right. So as Iftikhar mentioned, basically there is a gap you can say that has been left out because, and this gap is not something that you can see as a shortcoming. It's more of the fact that, again, we've given that capability to the customer to be able to merge any third party that they want. So that's the limit where you can't really reach out and, figure out how that third party is going to be generating data or how you're integrating it. So that's the part where Salesforce steps out and gives you the control as a developer to take charge of that and to structure it in a way that would make it SEO friendly. And this is the part where the expertise or the quality of your code comes in. And if your code has good quality, if you're following the standards and the best practices mentioned by Iftikhar by right now, if you're following all of those, if your page has really great performance, it's optimized, it's like you followed everything, then you will notice that your entire site would be SEO friendly. And another misconception we have over here, generally speaking, is that we only have client-side rendering on PWA Kit. So that's not the case. You do have the ability to leverage your server-side rendering, and you can actually prepare pre-prepared HTMLs that could have, snippets of the code that you need, any keywords that you want. So you have that option to optimize your code in a way where it's balanced between client-side and server-side to get the best of both worlds. So it really depends on how you work with it.
Sure. So I think in a way, if I rephrase it, that even in Composable Commerce, they've at one side they've kept things open for the customers, but at the same time, if you implement the best practices, a good quality code, that then you can still achieve the similar kind of results what you have and you get in the SFRA, right?
Or even better. Even better than that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Excellent. Even from the performance perspective, would be much better.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I think this was really good, and thank you guys for being the part of today's session. And this is what we have, guys, for SEO. Hopefully, we'll regroup again in the next few weeks with another episode, and we'll discuss another topic on Salesforce B2C Composable Commerce. Thank you for your time. Take care.
Thank you.
Happy to be here.
Bye-bye.